I seen the Sphinx breathing, standing next to heathens, devoured by seething locusts, ejected from the zenith. The body parts of God, Mother Earth received a penis, like Zeus to Venus, Osiris to Isis. One wired two polarities, you couldn't splice this. Original right knowledge, try to rewrite this. You're forced to speak in tongues, far and away your heritage from. Begin to absorb anything above and under the sun.
Yo, what's good, people? This is part one of a video series called Sons of Light. I don't know how long it's going to be because I'm kind of going off the head, but it's kind of a big subject, so I'll probably be going into a bunch of different things. So it's probably going to be like 3 videos, 2 videos at the very least. This is about the Illuminati. There's a lot of stuff about the Illuminati on YouTube, and I especially get a lot of it, you know, coming my way. People giving me, sending me messages and stuff like that, you know, because of my avatar. And if you have not seen the intro to this video, watch that now, because that'll save you a lot of trouble and save me some trouble, and understanding the background of this video and where it's coming from. I didn't put Illuminati in the title, and I probably won't put it in the tags because I'm trying to avoid a certain element from coming to this video. I don't want like white suburban teenagers coming to the videos. I'm like, Alex Jones, man, he breaks it, the Illuminati breaks it all down, man, he breaks it all down. I don't want that crowd. You know what I'm saying? Not that this is a racial issue per se, because the Illuminati, or these people that you call the Illuminati, that most people call the Illuminati, you know, they're trying to fuck everybody up, white, black, Asian, and whatever. But that's just not what I'm focusing on right now. That's just not the target audience, I should say, for this. You know, but the actual Illuminati, I mean, the Illuminati is just the Latin version, or the Latin name for these people. I mean, these people exist in all the cultures, like around the world, these ancient cultures, and they all had different names, but it's basically the same, you know, the same theme, the same play on the metaphor of light and knowledge. Like, light is a metaphor for knowledge, and it comes from the idea that these people have received great knowledge, or divine knowledge, you know, directly from the gods themselves. And you see this a lot in mythology. You see it, like I happen to be, you know, a mythology buff. You know, I like reading about the gods, so it's a subject that, you know, I naturally found interest in, and so it's deeply tied to all that, and it basically centers around that idea that they're getting directly from the gods. And you see it in mythology like everywhere. It's like, if you notice it, it's you'll see things like the gods are always regarded as these radiant, shining beings, and that when humans are around them or encounter them, this is like a big, you know, just like a major part of the encounter, like how illuminated these beings are. So you'll see things like, if you read the Egyptian book of Coming Forth by Day, when the deceased meets the gods, he says he speaks about how the gods are shining in their thrones, or shining in their stations. And you'll see it's in Greek mythology, it's in biblical mythology. When you read the story of Jesus in the Gospels, when Jesus goes to communicate with Moses, and I think it's Elijah in the Bible, on the mount, he transfigures. When he transfigures, his garments turn this bright white, and his face starts to shine like the sun. When you read the story of Moses going to the top of, I think it's Mount Sinai, to get the 10 Commandments or whatever, and he's speaking to Yahweh. When he comes back down, his face is shining, and he has to put a veil over it because it's like frightening the people. You know what I'm saying? You have all these metaphors. It's this continuing metaphor of light from the gods equaling knowledge. In Greek mythology, you always had these gods that would come down to earth. They had to take on these mortal disguises. They had to disguise themselves as normal mortals, because their brilliance was really too much for it to be comfortable around human beings. They had to hide their glory. There's even stories of Zeus. He'll show someone his full brilliance, and it'll just burn them alive. It would be so bright, it just burn them alive, like right there in the spot. So you have this. That's basically where this idea comes from. This idea of an illuminated people, these enlightened people. They're receiving divine knowledge. And I call this Sons of Light after the Egyptian version. There was a work by this Egyptologist. I think his name was Richard Peichman. I think he's German or something like that. And he did a work showing the initiation system of the Egyptian mystery schools. And it was made popular. This study was made popular by the book Stolen Legacy by George M. James, and he was out and they outlined the three initiation stages. He said the students of the first level of initiation were known as the mortals or the neophytes, and they're basically learning, like they're getting general education, just basic studies and learning. And then the second initiation level was the intelligences, and the intelligences dealt more with the higher aspects of the mind and the intelligence, listen to their inner voice and their inner vision and things like this. And the third and the highest level was the sons of light. And the sons of light, they're the ones that could communicate directly with the gods. They had achieved a level of wisdom and understanding and knowledge to the point where they could communicate with the gods and speak directly with the gods themselves. And that's the basic concept of the Illuminati. And if for that matter, it's when the Christians were in the earlier times when Christians were baptized, they would call the baptized, when you were baptized into Christianity, you were called the Illuminati. It's the same principle. You would become, by being baptized into the faith, you had gotten this divine enlightenment, this divine illumination from the Judeo-Christian God or Jesus or whatever. So we see this is always going to be, mixed in with religion. Whenever you're talking about the Illuminati, it's always going to be mixed in with religion. But in today's times, when you say Illuminati, you generally, if you Google Illuminati right now, you get a page full of links talking about some secret society in Germany founded by a guy named Adam Weishaupt. You're going to find a whole page full of links on that, and you're going to find a whole bunch of things about him, a whole bunch of like these attacks on them, and how they were evil and how they were wicked and how they were satanic and all this and all that. But then when you look at the sources of this, when you look at the first sources, the ones that popularized, the Illuminati and this image of the Illuminati, it comes mainly from two people. One is named John Robeson, who wrote a book called, or they list the book he wrote. It's called Proofs of a Conspiracy, and the other guy was Augustine Baruel, and he was a priest. I think he's a Jesuit priest. I'm not sure, but he was a priest, and their works are available online. And if you read their works, like I did, it's surprising because, unlike anybody else, when I started reading about the Illuminati and learning about it a few years ago, I'm reading what they're saying about it, and they're painting this dark image of this wicked circle of men, like sitting in a darkened room, performing rituals and worshiping Satan. And they have all these quotes about Lucifer and then worshiping Lucifer and things like that. So it's like I'm thinking these are like this really vile group of people. And so when I started reading some of their writings, it's like a completely different image. It's like when you learn what they're actually talking about, it didn't match up with the painted picture of them. It didn't match up, and it goes to show you, when you can just look at the sources of it, and you can see where all that's coming from. See, the Illuminati, the reason that the Illuminati were so vilified, and the reason they were considered such a big threat, is because the Illuminati was against the church. They were against the European church that had all the power, which at that time was the greatest power on earth. Adam Weishaupt was saying that the Bible is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous set of myths, and we need to get rid of it. And we need to remove this corrupt church that is taking advantage of the ignorance of the masses with these stories. And that was the basic mission statement of the Illuminati, was to get rid of to take away the power from the church and establish a new government that was trying to help the people instead of abuse them. When you look at John Robeson's book, you see that it's not actually called Proofs of a Conspiracy. It's actually a much longer title. It's something like Proofs of a Conspiracy Against the Religions and Government of Europe. So that is what squares them off against one another. That's the Illuminati is anti-church. That's why they're quote unquote satanic, because they're anti-church. Now I'm not saying this whether this German Illuminati was good or bad. I wasn't there. I can't say, but I know that their mission statement was good, and I know that whatever they were not what the typical image of them is. Adam Weishaupt, from what I can tell, I haven't read the whole book, but I've read a few pages of it, and I've read some of his quotes, and near as I can tell, he was a deist. He might have even been an atheist, but I mean, if he was a deist, like I think he said he was a deist, then he didn't even believe in the God of the Bible. He didn't even believe in that. He didn't believe in from what I read of his quotes, he doesn't appear to even believe in things like demons and spirits and stuff like that. So these rituals they're talking about, they're not necessarily ringing true. And that's what you have to be careful of when you're dealing with the Illuminati, because it's so tied in with religion. You get a lot of propaganda in it, and that's where a lot of the propaganda comes from, and that's why they have it. And it's not just the German Illuminati; it's the Illuminati in general. It's like you say Illuminati, it means enlightened or illuminated. There's more than one Illuminati.